Hello again, friends and family. We're out here in the garden today. Uh, we had a light frost come over us on Sunday morning, and it really devastated some of the plants here in the garden. And shame on me. I was expecting the frost, but I came down with a little bit of an illness myself, and was out Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't get to come out here and get ready for that frost. But it wasn't too bad. Had some damage, but I'm out here. Wanted to share with you how we can mitigate the effects of the cool weather and the frost coming in to give us just a few more weeks of growth in our vegetables. So here we got that squash and the peppers, and onions here around. So the onions didn't really mind the frost. They're okay. The pepper, on the other hand, is pretty sad because peppers are a warm climate plant. You see, it's pretty sad. It's still green, but it's not happy. We're gonna leave it in there though. Give it a little bit of more time to recover. The squash is just devastated. Look at it. It's just not. It's not there anymore. It is a summer plant, a vine, and so it's expected that it's not going to do well in cold climate. So we had that one zucchini squash that had gotten started, and it just got stopped in its tracks. The beautiful yellow flower is just brown now, and it's unfortunate, but it's just a reminder that we should always be ready. Always be prepared for what's coming. If you're going to be getting into gardening, you should really consider getting a weather app on your phone to keep you abreast of the forecast, so you can know a couple of days in advance what you need to get out and do in the garden to prepare for it. Show you the tomatoes. Also, it didn't like the frost. It looks really sad. The tomatoes are still there. They're green. Not too much damage on the fruit itself, but the leaves and the vine are just brittled. See that? It's just not the way it looked before. And it's a little tough to cover these on a budget. And that's what I'm going to show you today is how to protect your plants from frost on a budget. You could go really fancy and get yourself a greenhouse and put your beds inside the greenhouse, and that's fine. It works. But I'll show you how to do it on a budget today. The spinach didn't mind it. It's a cool weather plant. Didn't mind the frost. This pepper plant seemed okay, but the top here, if you can see, it's all blacked out. The growth that was coming up is gone. So I don't expect this one to mature, even if I cover it. It stunted its growth. I'll show you this other bed of tomatoes. You can see the green tomatoes now because the vine just turned brown with the frost. But you see how there's plenty of tomatoes in there. And you know what? I think I'm gonna harvest what I can and take some to you at our potluck this evening. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? A little inspirational tomatoes for you. But when the vine gets that tall, it's hard to cover. And this is the first year I let the tomato vines grow into the fall, so I wasn't really prepared or have a strategy for covering these. But perhaps next year I may. I'm thinking about revamping the garden, bringing the growing all the way down to the ground, and then maybe getting the hoop house tall enough to cover those tomatoes. Let's go back to the lettuce bed over here. Here's another tomato. This tomato, look at that. It just turned all brown. It's not going to produce. But I tried. It was an experiment. I put this one in mid-September. Had it been covered, I think it would have been okay. It's not as tall as these others. As you can see, the tomato cage is, still got plenty of growth to go. Nowhere as tall as these over here. You got the cabbage. Not even faded. I mean, he's happy. Look at how green this guy is. He didn't mind the frost at all. The pole beans, yeah, he didn't like the frost. There's an onion in here, really nice. Onions over here, they look really strong. Really strong, look at that. Lettuce and spinach bed. I came out here and on Sunday morning, and all these leaves were white. They were all white, covered in frost. But the sun was quickly defrosting all these things, and it came back okay. It doesn't look damaged at all. These are doing really good. In fact, I think I'm gonna harvest some of this later and take some to the potluck for you guys. You can enjoy some fresh lettuce, because there's plenty. There's plenty out here. I got plenty in the refrigerator that I'm still eating. So, oh, let me show you this. This is a good example. I don't know if it's gonna come through very well on the camera, but if you can see this here, these are seeds starting to form. Right here. And that's what's referred to as bolting. The lettuce is now bolting. And these leaves are going to be somewhat bitter now, so they're not good for eating. You might be able to throw them in a blender with your protein shake, a little bit of spice in there, some cinnamon or something, and it gets the bitterness away. But eating it raw with your salad, it's not going to be very, very pleasant. So this guy, we could just go ahead and clip the bottom out of this, leave the root system under there. Don't want to pull it out because it's going to disturb the natural ecosystem that's been created under the surface. But we could clip it and just leave it laying here in the bed. Maybe these seeds will mature and drop, and then you've got lettuce seeds in there for next year. So you got to watch out for that. Make sure you eat as much as you can, as I did, all of this, before it gets to the point that it's going to get bitter with these seeds forming, starts bolting. Okay, and let's see what else we got. You can see how I pulled some out because they had started bolting and left them in there. It's going to decompose. These will decompose and return back to the earth, return back into the bed as decomposed material, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine for the next set of plants you put in there. Some helicopters overhead getting pretty loud. So let's move on to the materials for the do-it-yourself greenhouse. Hoop house is called. A little hoop house. And we got plastic sheeting. This is 4 mil. You could use a 4 to 6 mil, 20 by 25 feet. And this is what you use to drape over some PVC pipe. This is a half inch diameter PVC pipe. Let's see if we can see where it specifies. Oh, I don't see it now, but trust me, it's a half inch. Yes, right here. Half inch. And got these little squares here. I'll show you how we use those in a bit. Got a little tape measure just so you can measure out how far you need them, how large you need them for your bed. Some screws and some pipe straps. If you're using wooden beds, you can use these to secure the pipe onto the wood for more stability. And then we got these binder clips. What are these used for? Well, I'll tell you. Once you get this plastic on the draped over the PVC pipe, you just use these clips to hold that plastic in place. See? And there you go. Gonna keep the wind out, rain out, more importantly the frost out. Oh, almost forgot to mention, this little thing comes in handy. It's a PVC pipe cutter. Helps to get your straight cuts. Make them once and not have to worry. All this stuff I picked up at Home Depot. And I got this maybe 2 years ago. I reuse most of this stuff. When you pull out your hoop houses, collect your screws, collect your pipe straps, collect your binders, and even your plastic. If your plastic stays out of the sun, maybe keep it in the garage rolled up. It'll last another year. If you leave it outside in the sun, it'll get brittle and it'll just crumble up. You won't be able to use it again. Even the pipe here, I could leave this pipe outdoors, leave it outside, and still be able to use it the next year. So the first thing that I would do to get these pipes molded is to just put it in the bed just like that. Just a little hoop, just a little rainbow. And you can see how tall it is. It's really tall. I mean, let me keep you oriented. We're up here and the plants are way down here, right? That's okay. We don't need to use it this tall. This is just so we can get it molded, right? Once you leave that pipe in there for a few days, maybe even a week, let it sit out in the sun a while, it's gonna be molded that way. You pull it out and it's no longer gonna be straight. It's not gonna be straight like that. And once you pull it out, you're gonna be able to, cut these pieces of it that are rounded off, curved, and then you take this guy here, attach it there, and another one on this other side, and you've got the start of your hoop. See? Just like that. And then right here, on this one, you're gonna put a straight PVC pipe. And I'll show you in the other bed how I got that set up. I'll bring you this way. You're gonna see how it's much more fitted to accommodate the plants that are in the bed. If they're not too tall, then you don't need to go so high, and you don't need to use that much plastic, right? So here we go. We got two sides hoops. This is from a single PVC pipe that I put up like that and molded and then cut, and I put a straight one down the middle. And these are not glued, but they're pretty sturdy. They'll come out easy. See? There it is. And I don't have these secure yet. Sometimes you can get away with not having them secure down there if you just bury it a little deep into the bed there. It'll stay secure enough. It's like that. Yeah. Doing this one-handed is a little challenging. I need to get me a proper camera instead of this phone, and then a bipod would help. Okay, here we go. So there it is. All you gotta do next is drape the plastic over it and use the binder clips along here, along the top, and along this end here. Now what I like to do is, I have a lot of, here are the rest of them. See, these are some I've already molded in preparation for this year. I keep a lot of material here. I gotta use it. It'll get worked with. So you can see now that these guys have been in a while, and they're not gonna change shape. So they're ready to be cut. See? One last thing I wanted to show you. Here we go. I think this is just a 2-inch by, I don't know, 1/4 inch piece of wood. And what I'll do is I'll lay this out cut my plastic that I need, proper length for the bed. You know, put it on the bed first, make sure I got the proper length, and make sure it's going to go over the hoop house, the PVC pipe with adequate slack. You don't want to fall short. Believe me, you don't want to fall short. And then I'll take one side of the plastic and I'll staple it. You know, I'll wrap it around once, and then I'll staple it all down there. And this will be used to store it. So once you're done with it, and not just for storage, but it helps to keep the weight down on one side, so you can, I don't know, maybe put bricks. That's why you see bricks over here around the beds, because I use the brick to hold down the plastic in areas where it's loose. So when you're done with it for the season, since it's stapled on here, you just roll the plastic right onto this thing, toss it in your garage or your shed, and keep it out of the sun, and pull it out next year. It's ready to go. Save time. Do it once, it's ready to go. So that's what we got. I got to finish up some things before I get the plastic on there, but I'll leave that for another video. Show you how to get the plastic on there, so you guys can get your garden started. But it's always a work in progress. You know, I don't think it's ever going to be perfect. Just like ourselves, we're always trying to improve ourselves and finding new strategies to improve our lives and our lifestyle. Same thing with our gardens. So yeah, I was feeling pretty cruddy the last couple of days, and so the garden looks how I feel. But I'm feeling better, and tomorrow I'm gonna feel even better than today. And I think the garden is gonna do the same. It's gonna look better tomorrow as it does better than today. So you just gotta put in the work, put in the time, and give it some love. It's broccoli over here, didn't mind the frost at all. It's going strong. It's looking good. Okay, one final thing, folks. One final thing. I got the same boards, or the same piece of wood that I showed you earlier for that plastic. I also utilize these for vertical gardening. You know, if you don't have too much room in your backyard, hey, go vertical. It works. It really does. So what I do is I pick up some of this at Home Depot. It's a plastic trellis type deal. It's the gardening section. I cut a piece of it to length, however long you want it. And I just use a few nails to nail that in there. Small little nails. See, they don't go all the way through. And I do that two sides, right? And leave some room down here so you can attach this part, screw it in to your bed, your wooden bed, or if you don't have wood, you use this to bury it into the ground for stability. And you know, find other ways, be creative to stabilize this thing, because it is going to shift with the wind. So you want to stabilize it as best as possible. But at that point, you know, you put in your vines, your beans, your peas, heck, even squash will grow up this, melons, cucumbers. I've done cucumbers on this. Very, very successful growing vertically. Okay, there it is. So it looks like it's tall. See? Plenty of room for the plants to grow vertically. Alright friends, this video's coming up on 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here, and we'll see you next time.